Hold on 1 second. Yeah.
I'm going live.
You ready?
Now. Are you ready?
I just had some distractions. I'm trying to tell them not to do any movement because it distracts.
I'm live now.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello, hi.
Hello, good evening. How are you?
Good evening, Daddy. I'm very well, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, okay.
We're going to start in a second. Just a second.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Daddy. Bye.
Thank you, everybody. The studio is live. Thank you.
Right. Good evening, and good afternoon, and probably it's kind of a good morning, but I am expecting some people, viewers from all other parts of the world. My name is Otunba Olabode Osenie, the host for One-on-One with Otunbahoo on MogbedeRadioTv in the UK. And tonight, I have a very important guest. We're going to find out who she is, and she will be telling us a little bit about herself. But the best introduction if it comes from your guest. So she knows exactly who she is, and she knows exactly what she wants. Now, without further ado, I want to introduce to you Madam Marisol Jobate. Did I call it right? Yes. So, Madam Marisol Jobate is a presidential candidate for one of the countries in West Africa called the Gambia. As you all know, Gambia, I'm not too sure whether it's the tiniest, whether it's the smallest. But again, like Canada, the sovereignty, no matter what the size is, Gambia remains a sovereign state in West Africa. And the next presidential election is coming December this year. Like another thing, there are people who want to contest, and one of the front runners is my guest tonight, Marisol Jobate. Let me start by asking you, Madam, to introduce yourself, tell us who you are, what exactly what you do, and what do you want. Then we can start asking you more questions. Is the record going on? Yes? Thank you, Madam. You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Otunbayo, for inviting me to this
recording in progress.
Fantastic platform. I am honored to be here today. Well, like you rightly introduced me already, my name is Marisol Jobate. That's my husband's given name, Jobate. My name is Marisol. I was born and raised in the Gambia, but I've lived most of my life abroad, from Europe to the US, and came back to the Gambia in 2011 with some projects, and then came back, left and came back 2013, unfortunately, to witness my father's burial. I lived, like I said, most of my life in Spain, had my own businesses in Spain, and employed a lot of Spanish nationals, and where I was very well noted for what I did for the community. From there, I moved to the US. US had been a challenge for me because when you live in Europe and live the lifestyle you live as a businesswoman, and then you come to America and have to always prove yourself as an African, that did sit well with me. But whatever you see in life, it makes you stronger. I got a high school degree. Never made it to get my, college degree, because I had to help my mother and help my brothers and sisters to accelerate. So at an early age, I started working. And through working and earning, I helped my brothers and sisters as well to travel and to, seek a better life out of the Gambia. But everyone that knows me in the Gambia knows that I've been an entrepreneur from a very early age. I self-taught myself. I made sure I got the skills that I need. Went to school by myself to learn typing, because that time we had skill centers and, Microsoft Word and all that at a very early age. This was in the 80s. So I made sure all that I needed to be part of the upcoming technological world I was part of. I didn't want to get left behind. And so forth and so on. And even in the US and in Spain, I made sure I got certifications in whatever it is I am doing. I always make sure I get the best because I always want to accelerate in everything I did. I remembered one of the jobs I did in America prior to having my own business was to work at a dealership called Sutton Ford. And I never sold a car before, but I said, let me get certified, so I can be one of these top guys to make that money, So I got myself blue collar certified, and I was one woman amongst 24 men. So that was a challenge in itself in the United States. But all these experiences and certifications that I got all over the world made me who I am today. And I came back home to give back. I'm not your typical politician because I am not, I was not into politics. I help people. I'm a philanthropist, businesswoman, and that is how I started going into the communities, helping, bringing projects. Unfortunately, most of the projects I brought were rejected by our government, former government, but I keep on pushing because I believe in what I was doing and I believe in helping the people. And in 2016, when we were going through that pivotal point from removing the former president out of office, I decided to support politicians because I believe in what they were doing. And I supported a politician, but I came to realize that what was written and what was being said was different. And my integrity was more than anything else, like what he was about or what they were about and what was written was two different things. So I decided that was not for me. But I helped to the capacity of what I can for him and then brought people, but then still asked those people to keep on, going with, movement. And I was in a very dangerous circle because it went to the point where the former president even announced that there's an American helping politicians. And if that American is caught, it will be set as an example. So I was risking my life. I was risking my children's life, helping somebody. But then I came to realize that we were both going on two different directions. So I left. But nonetheless, I still stayed in the background helping other politicians until what we did in 2016, what happened in 2016 took place. Because you cannot be in the Gambia and not participate. So that was one key thing that I did for the country. And many other things that I've done for the Gambia. When we had that unrest in 2018, 2019, about the 3 years Jotner, I was the one that mediated the peace deal between the government and the people that were supposedly going to make havoc in the country. So because of me, Gambia slept well that December when everybody thought the country was going to get burnt. So these are the few things that I've done in my capacity in the country. Now, I decided to get out of politics because, like I said, what is said and what is happening when you're inside the political party is different. But then the youth and the women, when they didn't see me in these meetings and all that, they invited me and said, listen, why are you not coming to these meetings? I said, because, it is not what I thought it is. That is not what we should promote or what I feel it should be promoted, because Africa is bigger than that. We cannot have this same politics over and over again, especially for Gambia, where we are now almost 50-something years old, and we are still doing the same thing that isn't working. So I don't believe in that. I believe in community development. I believe even as a political party, you have a responsibility to your people. So they said, well, you cannot leave. We need you. I said, well, I cannot join that party. So that is how they urged me, coming to my office, talking to me, and said, yes, then you stand on your own. So I said, well, I don't want to be the president. I'm just helping. No, we need you, Auntie Marie. You cannot leave us. So all that, finally, I said, okay, I'll do it based on one fact, that I'll stand as an independent candidate. One, to call everybody to unite. I promote peace and unity. That way, everybody can see themselves in me. no to tribalism, no to religious divide, no to nothing. That is why I stand as an independent candidate. And so they accepted. So that's how that journey started. I cannot hear you, sorry.
Mute yourself, sir.
Right. Thank you very much for this inside story, I would call it. Telling our viewers, both here in Gambia and some other part of the world, we got to know you now. However, the business of politics in Africa is completely different from what you get in Europe. It's starting from even though the idea, the goal, the wishes, I mean, the arrangement of wanting to be president or chairman or whatever in most of these African countries becomes a little bit difficult to manage in terms of the structure of so many countries that are not properly provided for security and so other things. But tonight, I'm not going to take it too far away from the goals of your dreams and so on. So I want to start to take you on 3 major areas. Then, as with the time, I'll continue to ask more questions. The bedrock of any country is education. And you have clearly said it in your intro, what you were able to do, your education and so on and so forth. How much is issue of education in Gambia matters to you? How much premium do you want to put on that?
Well, education is key for every country to develop. You understand? Without education, and most politicians use this as a leverage. When you don't educate the masses, then you can control them. Well, unfortunately, I don't see it that way. I see that when you educate the masses, then you can have employment. Then all these so-called youths, over 60% of youth idling around, can at least have the opportunity to get employment. So I believe in education. I'm coming from a family where my mother was a teacher for about 40 years, and she became the principal of a school for how many years? I came from lawyers and doctors and nurses from my family. So education is key for everything. Even when I finished high school, my dad wanted me to go and study at university, but then the finances were not there. But I still made sure everything that I need as far as qualifications and certifications, I got those things on my own, because I know the more I learn or the more I research, the better it is for me. And one of the key areas in Gambia today that is lagging completely is education. Our education system is zilch. Kids, young people are coming to my office right now and said, I have a diploma in IT. I put a computer in front of them, they can't switch it on. They said, this is not the type of computer I work with. So we are lagging even in basic education. And in my time, when we go to school, when you finish high school in Gambia, it's like you went to college, because it was so intense. What we learned and what we were doing was so intense. When I compare to what they are doing today, except you're in a private school, you will not get that. So yes, in my government, I will make sure school is priority, and everyone must go to school. Every child must access education, and it will be compulsory, because from the primary level to the high school level, no child will be left behind. And we will have free education. That way, there's no excuse of my child could not get basic education. So these are the things that we're going to focus on, because education is a vital component for development. Education, is a system that moves a country. When your populace is educated, the doors open, businesses come in, your country develops, because you have a workforce. But having a workforce that don't know anything kills a country, and that is what is happening right now in Gambia. I can bring tons of investors. I can have big factories, industries, and all that in the Gambia, but then we don't have skilled people or people who have the know-how to work there. Yeah. So we end up taking foreigners, and then the majority has a problem. So yes, we will deepen the access to education in our country, in my tenure. Make sure Gambia is educated again. And you'll be surprised. Gambians are very, very intelligent. When you look at the international organizations. You see so many educated Gambians in high post, you know, on these international organizations, United Nations and all these key, you know, you have, you know, very, very, very intelligent, you know, Gambians working there. But they are all from a time when education was very, very important, and it was prioritized in the Gambia. Unfortunately, that did not happen in the past years, and especially these past few years here.
Thank you, madam. The second E, because like I said, I'm going to take you on 3 E's first. E. The second one is the most important one also, apart from education. From experience, majority of Africans back home, different crime, I mean, they are hungry. Many of them are hungry. In the process, bread and butter become issues. And they think if they have to struggle to get bread and butter, why do they have to be bothered, you know, to wanting to go to school? What do you have in place to have these two areas go together? There will be free education, which is very lofty idea, fantastic idea. All country, everybody will welcome that because, like we said, education is key to building a nation. So the issue of economy, how much do you want to, what do you have to give, to tell the Gambians, please vote for me because I'm going to shape, rearrange, readdress, and make sure the economy is going to be in place to support, to augment other programs I have for Gambia. So I'm
trying to, sir, Mr. Otunba, I'm trying to hear you, but you're going in and out, so I could only pick some of what you're saying.
Okay, let me repeat.
Like you're going in and out, yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's just technology for you. Can you hear me now?
Yes, now it's better.
Okay. Now, I want you to tell our viewers, and especially the Gambians who are connected to this program tonight on different channels. Now, education is good, but then majority of Africans, they have this problem of bread and butter. Economy, in most cases, are in shambles. There's no proper arrangement to get an average family, average person to get 3 square meals. Some are even struggling. In some countries, they will call it 001, which means maybe you don't eat in the morning, you don't eat in the afternoon, struggle to eat in the evening. So these are issues that is bothering many people, and I can imagine that the Gambians are having same problem. What do you want to do about the economy of Gambia? That an average Gambian will say, "Oh wow, I'm going to vote for this madam because these are promises I never had before. She's going to fix the economy." What do you want to do to fix the economy of Gambia?
Yes, first, our economy since 1965. We have a mixed economic system, which is the middle path between free market and then pure socialist economy, you know. This allows, you know, like for the coexistence of both private and public sector interventions. So promoting, you know, public-private partnerships is one of the things that we are going to do for development and growth by providing various incentives for private investment. We are going to recognize the current economic woes of the Gambia, and this can be diagnosed on a gross fiscal indiscipline, how do you call it, recognize that we are having this economic crisis in the Gambia. And we are going to have a gross fiscal indiscipline, which is worsened by independent monetary authority. So we are going to distort the tax regime. We are going to, you know, make sure that we allow inequality. We don't allow inequality in the system because that is what is hurting us. We are going to change the way we do things. When we borrow money, we need to be able to have a proper management. We're going to have what we call, we used to have that, which is the public expenditure tracking system. We used to have the public expenditure, which is the management. So we have to put all these things in place for Gambia to move forward. We are going to boost our economy by focusing also on agriculture agriculture is one of Gambia's key components. It curbs hunger. Gambia will be able to feed itself again. Gambia will be part of that exporting market. Gambians will be able to, support themselves. That boosts the economy because we have very good fertile soil in the Gambia. So these are all areas that we are looking at as far as boosting our economy and also inviting investors to invest. But of course, when you invite investors to invest, you need to also look at how you can, put certain policies in place that guarantees them their money. You understand? I always tell people, a government is like an enterprise. You are looking for the better of your country. But at the same time that you're looking for the better of your country, everything you do, of course, is for your benefit. But at the same time, you have to open doors for other people to be able to come in. And how are you going to do that? Having certain policies in place that can encourage investors to come into the country, invest, also something that is beneficial to your country, not just selling out your country. You need to make sure whatever you do, it should be the best interest of your country. So these are all the policies that we are going to look into. My main focus is making sure that we have public expenditure tracking and public expenditure management. You see, without these two, there's no control. Even when you lend, from these lending companies like the World Bank and all that, you should be able to make development plans that can benefit or can yield more money, and then you can pay that making profit. Like I said, it's an enterprise, and you have to look at it that way. You cannot borrow money and waste the money, or like corruption, eat the money, and then turn around and you cannot pay, then you leave your country in debt. We need to pass that stage. And this is not only for Gambia, this is for all over Africa. It's high time Africa start prioritizing certain things in our country. Whatever it is that we need to do to boost our economy, that's what we need to do so we can grow and develop. So we are going to come with vigorous change in the way we do things. We are going to change the way we think. We are going to be so anti-corrupt because, like I tell people, I don't need anything right now. All I need is to make sure my grandchildren can have a better life in the Gambia, that my children can come back home to a better Gambia. All of us here, we're all in Europe. You guys are in Europe. One day you want to come home. Your children want to come home, but they cannot come home to a country that you talk about bad economy, you talk about food shortage, you talk about all what is negative is in Africa. How long are we going to be like that? So yes, all our external debts, right now, for example, in Gambia, have just gone wild, and already unsustainable, So what are we going to do about that? These are all the things that we're going to look at so that we can economy.
Thank you. The third E that I want to take up with you is the issue of energy. Like another thing, we all know that one of the worst infrastructure are found in Africa. Many countries are still going through the problem of energy, but I'm told before this program began that another country supplies Gambia electricity. And how long do you want to have this going for? How much do you want to do? How much do you want to do about energy in Gambia?
And that is one of the issues here. We have companies supplying us electricity at a very high rate. The same companies, I think, or a company like that was supplying electricity to Ghana, and I think it almost made Ghana go bankrupt. So then it's a system that is so old, and they brought that to the Gambia, and people are buying it, and that's, will take Gambia to its bankruptcy level. We have so many types of energy now, especially renewable energy, solar and all that. I'm looking into those areas where Gambia can have, sustainable, affordable electricity energy for the Gambia. Affordable in the sense that we have poverty rate here is high, and you have to look at what people can afford. What we have right now is not affordable, and also we are paying too much out, for our electricity when we can tap in probably even a nearer source than what we have right now. So these are all areas, even right now as I speak to you, I'm talking to people that build windmills, wind turbines, for example, and solar systems and all that. I'm talking to them, I'm seeing what are the best options for Gambia, because for your country, you have to look at the best options, something that can be affordable for your people, and also access, that everyone access that. So these are the areas we are looking at right now. Like I said, my manifesto is not out yet, so I'm trying so hard to give you answers, but at the same time, trying to, make sure I don't, because I'm supposed to launch the manifesto soon, which will cover everything. So I'm just giving you a roundabout.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. We can also, leave with that. Again, I don't want to, like you rightly said now that I'm aware that I'm also a mini politician, I've been there, and I know exactly what it is. You don't want to let everything out of the bag. So I can imagine within a short period of time, people can copy and paste, and
and they've been doing that. Every time I come, I say something, they've been doing that. When I say certain words, I use words like revamp, and now I hear other politicians saying revamp. So
let me give this to you, and I think I'm not going to be too seriously wrong. Even at that, this is a wonderful opportunity for you, seeing it first. People are hearing it from you first. So the only thing they want to probably go to see later on towards the election period is going to be in print, because this opportunity you are having now, there's a fan club, a club that is going to do everything possible to support you up to the end. So is it going to be a White House or Black House or Yellow House? What's your house going to be?
Our house is called the State House.
The State House. It's going to be the State House. That's right. So here and I can imagine that this group of people are not going to rest until when you get to the State House. So let's also use this opportunity because the more we talk about all these structure things, about all this infrastructure, I'm sure thousands of your people are listening, and they're going to see this video as time goes on. Oh yes, he said that. They will be able to identify who is copying who. So let us use this opportunity. So we can talk a little bit about it. So they're hearing it from you, direct, live and direct. Now, there's also another area I want to. I've done some research about Gambia, and I also discovered that part of the problem that is common in Africa is the issue of health. Just tell us, don't let everything out. What do you have in stock for
our health sector?
Health sector in Gambia.
Yeah, our health sector is right now, as I speak to you, our health sector is at a deplorable condition, and that is one important aspect of a country. Your health sector. Your women cannot die of childbirth in the rate that they are dying in the Gambia at this 21st century. Our health sector, when you go to the hospital, for example, you don't have medications. So my grandmother was a nurse and a matron. Like I said, I come from families of doctors and nurses and teachers. And I know what it was, how the hospitals were in the Gambia in the old days. And what we are seeing right now, these are not hospitals, these are not clinics. Most of these private clinics, when you are sick right now in the Gambia, you go to the private clinic. So yes, we are going to invest in our health sector because we cannot afford to go to other countries for when we are sick. Most of these African countries are developing now. Their health sector is coming up. People are buying medications from Nigeria, from India. Gambia is still sitting here, cannot even make one drug. Gambia does not even have the they order the medications, or even a proper hospital. When you go to the hospital, you don't even have a proper bed to lay in. The mosquitoes are killing you. There's no medication whatsoever. You go to give birth, there's no blood, but then people are donating blood. So when I start on the health sector, it's devastating, it's heartbreaking, but I have here, I just opened my laptop to read to you what we want to do. I said in the Marisol government, we will promote the integration of traditional and prophetic medicine in the mainstream health system in the Gambia, which will be carefully introduced to intervention to providing effective, reliable, and affordable alternative medicine. This will also go a long way to diversify health-seeking behaviors. In the same vein, we will have priority in specialized professional health workers. We don't have that. We don't have a lot of qualified people, a lot of qualified doctors or nurses. Our nurses are just general, most of them are general nurses. They don't have, like you have in America, the RN, the CNA, the RN, and the LPN. We have general nurses. A regular nurse will be in the hospital and will turn into a maternity nurse. You understand? So we don't have these specialized fields in the Gambia. So these are all areas that we need to work on. And in my government, that is what we're going to do. We're going to have the primary health care sector, major health hospitals. So this is what we want to bring in.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. I must say to all our viewers and our guests in the house, because the nature of this discourse tonight is with presidential candidate, which is not from Nigeria, but from Gambia. Gambia is like a sister country to Nigeria. And it's a pleasure to say that we've been collaborating, we have been cooperating, we are working together. I can imagine that that's the area will be continued, that there won't be, oh, now they do this. So I'm sure the support will always be there. Now, I just want to say to viewers that tonight might not be a question time for, unless if you have a couple of people in the house who are from the Gambia, who want to use this opportunity to ask. Unless otherwise somebody will say, oh, I used to live in Gambia for the last 20 years, so I know everything in Gambia. So otherwise I'm not going to allow anybody to start querying or asking questions. So now I want to go to another area of governance, which to me is very important. Important in the sense that these are things an average citizen of any country want to benefit or want to enjoy. Now, we talk about healthcare, we talk about energy, education, and so on. Housing is also key. Just give us a rough idea of what you want to do about housing.
Well, right now we have what we call the Social Security and Housing Authority, Housing Finance here in the Gambia. And for the past, I don't know, maybe 5-10 years, I don't know really what they have been doing. I feel that people should have access. In the old days, teachers, when you retire, you get access to housing. You pay towards, because you're deducted from your salary so you can have housing. How do you call it? Police. The police had access, the army. But for some reason, I don't see that happening anymore. Instead, what I see here is, our ministers selling all the land. So you cannot have your workforce, people that are in the forefront, the labor force, not having access to housing, or your people as a nation not having access to housing. So these are things, because, for example, when I was in Spain, I came, the ladies that were working for me, or my workers, my Spanish workers, they had this program where if you have a steady job, where when you have a steady job, your boss writes a letter of recommendation that you have a long-term job. And the moment you do that, the government gives you a loan, and these are houses that are already built. They give you a loan towards that house. But based on that letter, the loan is so small, and you can now pay that monthly with access to housing. So however you want to do it, you have to make sure that when people, for example, you can work and get deducted for housing, and then at the end of the day, you retire and you don't have a house. So these are still things that are ongoing, and we need to change that. We have a lot of people back in the day that had housing after they retire from school or from being teachers or nurses or police. And we don't have that anymore. So that is one key area that we will work on again, because we want people that are working in the workforce, the majority of them, to be able to access proper living, proper sanitary living and proper housing. And these are the areas that we are looking at. We have a business tycoon, Mr. Taff. He's doing things like that, but of course, his is more on, making houses on low-income houses so that people can have affordable houses. And these are people, other investors that even government can partner with to work with, so that the nation can, your Gambians, your people can have access to proper housing for their families.
Thank you very much. Again, Gambia is a very, as my intro also is tiny, small sister to other big countries in West Africa. So there will always be need for roads, infrastructure. How are you going to deal with this problem of...
How do I say that again? Sorry.
About roads in Gambia. Are you going to just leave the roads as they are, or you want to expand and make the roads better? Because it's
I was just talking about it yesterday, sir. I said, I don't understand how we are building roads and then the roads are so poor. You build roads, the finishing is poor, is bad. After 1 year, 2 years, the road is bad again. And then this habit of every government coming and just building roads. I mean, when I build roads, my roads have to lead somewhere. I was just talking to a friend of mine. I said, listen, I don't believe in all this so-called roads building. That is good. Yes, these are infrastructure, but you cannot build a road when your people are hungry. You cannot build a road and just building road. Every president come and build a road. That's not, and the road has no direction. It makes sense to build and fix our port. You're talking about infrastructure. Fix our port, make our city right now a city port. Once you do that, now you need, of course, to transport goods into all different areas of the country. Then you can now have proper roads, proper built roads for trucks, for all kinds of cars going one direction. Gambia is a hub. Gambia is a hub, and from the Gambia you can go to Guinea, from the Gambia you can go to Senegal, from the Gambia you can go to Mali. You can even build, my legacy is I want to build a train connecting from Tamba, from Senegal into the Gambia and out. All this is what then building roads, because at least you're building roads for accessibility. But right now they're building roads for what? You cannot build a road when there's, whatever you do, these are loans. These are monies taken from other entities to build these roads. You have to pay this money. So these roads, you build them, they're not making money. But if I build a bridge, for example, the Banjul-Barra bridge, it will make money. And it can pay back the lending, partner. And that road will now benefit the people because they will use it to transport goods or cross or whatever. So that is how I think. The roads that we have need to be fixed. Before you build new roads, you need to fix what we have on ground. It's the rainy season now. So by the time the rainy season is over, you now building new roads, but forgetting about the old ones, just to say, oh, I am the president, now I've built these roads. But they're not beneficial to the people. The people are not going to eat, drink, sleep on that. You understand? The ones that are existing that you need to reinforce. You're not doing that. And also when you do build roads, it has to mean something. It has to, you're taking a loan. How are you going to pay the loan when you just build a road to go where? So for me, all these things that they're doing doesn't make sense for me. I do things that make sense. Like I tell people, look at the government like an enterprise. What are you ask yourself, what am I getting if I build this road from Kotu to here? Nothing. Now, but if I do build this, and then make a road. Now people can transport goods because this is a center that can go from point A and point B. That means this road is now worth me building because it gives accessibility. But just to say you are building road and then you don't build it properly, just to say, this president built the road. The president gets out of power, the road goes with him. Before he gets out of power, the road is spoiled. So these are all the things that we sit every day and we strategize, which we have in our manifesto. Proper infrastructure that makes sense. Proper infrastructure that are beneficial to the people. Proper infrastructure that people can say, okay, I'm doing business from Senegal. I want to cross with my trucks. They have a bridge to cross. There you pay a toll, you cross. You come into Gambia, you want to transport your goods to Mali. You can take the train and have a cargo train and take it there. These are what we call development. These are developmental things that empower the country. And these are all can be done by investors or partners, you know? But just building roads, the roads, you don't know where they're going. They go halfway, they cut off, you go to red thing. You're not making money off the road, but you have to pay the toll.
Thank you very much. I think technology started taking its toll now. I also want to take you, or want you to walk us through another area. I asked the last question about roads because I know one of the main area of Gambia economy is revolve around. Can you hear me? Mm-hmm. Revolve around tourism. But before I go to tourism, I want to ask you a question. I'm coming to 3 areas that is cankerous that I believe are big problems in Africa. I will come to that towards the end of this meeting, of this sitting. Now, how much is technology meant to you as the next president of Gambia?
How much is technology? Say that again. Technology.
How much do you want to put on technology?
Oh, a lot, because the whole world, is moving, and right now, all these people or presidents or past governments sitting don't have no clue of the technological age or the technological field. So this is something, and the young people that are coming up are all into technology. And that is one of the reasons I said my office will be pumped with younger, dynamic people that understand the technological world. Everything now is technology, digitalized, And when you go to Europe, America, you come out of the plane. If you don't understand all about technology, you basically lost. You understand? Because everything is technology. Everything. So we as Africans start to promote that because the young people are aware and they study that in schools, like for example in a university. And we need to promote that so that we can join the international market. We can join other countries in development, in growing. If I bring companies here with all these big technological machines and it's no use to my country right now because we don't have the capacity, the brains to operate them. We don't have the brains to work for these companies. So we end up hiring people from other countries like Senegal or other neighboring countries because they already have it integrated in their schools to learn, don't. We only have them in our private schools. So these are all the things that we are looking at from the grassroots level all the way, because that is one of the things that can get us moving as a country. And when you talk about, you talk about tourism, it all ties in, it all ties in. When you have cheap tourism coming into your country, pedophiles and all that, you don't even know how to catch them. It's because of if you have proper technology at the airport, we scan their passport, it will tell you immediately who's a pedophile or who's not. So these are all the things like I said are lagging in our country.
Sorry about that. Again,
yeah, I was distracted a bit.
But I'm in control. I'm here. Thank you. Continue, madam.
Yeah. So no, I said, like, for example, Gambia as a tourism spot should really be one of those countries that have technology up there, because we have like pedophiles, all kinds of people coming into the country, and that keeps the country unsafe, you know, and we need that to keep the country safe, especially if we are promoting tourism. You know, with technology, you can you can scan somebody's passport at the airport, and they can, you know, you can know who's a pedophile or not. You know, little things like that. And you're talking about other kinds of technology on the ground. So we don't have anything in place for that. Everything we have when it comes to technology, when it comes 1 year, it works, the next year it's packed on the side, because we don't have skills or trained people in that field. And this is something we really are going to push. I'm sitting here right now with you. I have my laptop on, I have this on, I have that on. I'm moving everything, I'm doing everything. I can operate anything. I can go to any company in the world and they can show me stuff, and I can learn how to, you know, but there are some people, even ministers can't even operate their little thing like a computer, like a laptop. You know, it's a shame.
What?
So we are lagging behind when it comes to technology.
I have no doubt in my mind that all this area we've been talking about are going to be your priorities.
Yeah, I have them in my manifesto. Yeah.
It will be your major focus. And like I said to you, I can tell you that from experience, even if anybody start copying and pasting, you can always refer them to this meeting. Say, look, they are copying and pasting me. Don't worry about that. Now,
yeah, even listen, sir, even the how do you call it? Even when you talk about agriculture now, agriculture now has gone, you know, technologically. You know, everybody's doing, you know, exactly. So it's not like the old days of doing agriculture. Everything is machine. Everything is technology. You understand? We are they're even creating how do you call it, things just through technology. So if you don't have the expertise, how are you going to join the world? How are you going to join the developing countries? How is your country going to move? You know, the old way of doing agriculture is over. Soon it will be like an old story, you know, but we still can use the old system and bring in new, you know, ideas, which is through technology, and then boost our agriculture. So everything right now is going to a technological age.
thank you very much. Like I said, I promise you, and I also going to tell our viewers that apart from, I wouldn't know if anybody is from Gambia who is directly connected to this meeting. Please raise up your hand if you want to ask Madam Marisol. You know that she's a candidate. If you have any question apart from the one I've been trying to take her through, please raise up your hand, and I'm sure she'll be too glad to answer your questions. Now, Madam Marie, there's that area, you see, people say experience is something you cannot buy. You make it, you build it up. And as time goes on, you might be able to use some of them to work me as a presenter, me as a talk show host. I have some 3 other areas which I want to go into them now. They might be more negative, but they are really like kind of a killer. You know, there are diseases that is affecting Africa, not even only in Gambia. So I'm going to start with them. The first one is what do you want to tribalism? Unfortunately, because the way Africa is put together, most African countries, the only one African country that I know that doesn't have that problem, even at that is Somalia, that has only one language, one ethnicity, or whatever. Even at that, they still fight Monday to Friday. So now to talk of a place like Gambia, I'm sure you have series, different type of tribes and all that kind of things. These are serious matters. These are affecting everything an average good government wants to do. You know, how do you want to deal with this issue of tribalism?
Well, I'm doing that right now by setting an example. I always tell people that I am coming from many tribes. I see myself as a Gambian, and because I myself, my personal self, I am from different tribes, you know, and I am from my grandmother is Serir, you know, my mother is Aku, My grandfather is Nigerian. My how do you call it? My other grandmother is my other grandfather is mixed Wolof and Portuguese. So I'm mixed, you know. Then I have Mandingo families. Then I have Jola family, my cousins. Then I have other cousins that are Manjago. So I'm kind of related with everybody, you know. So this is one of the reasons I stand as an independent candidate, because I said I am so mixed that I cannot afford to have such a divide in this country. Gambia, politics and politicians are just using this so-called tribalism just to create, you know, oh, because the Mandingo tribe is more, I'm a Mandingo party. The Jola tribe is more, and that is nonsense, because there's no house in this Gambia where you will go and it's only one tribe that is in there. None. In one house, you will see 3 or 4 tribes in that one house. So what are we talking about? And this is why I said I'm educating people. I said to them, don't follow these politicians that are pushing tribalism. Because what you do first is to call for unity. And you need to embrace everyone, regardless. You know, I cannot say, oh, I don't like this tribe, because if I do that, I have cousins, nieces and nephews that are from that tribe. Then I'm a hypocrite. So I have to call for unity, because I love my family. I see myself as a Gambian first. When you go to other countries, when you go to, when you meet, for example, somebody from Senegal, and you say, oh, what tribe are you? They will tell you, they will even forget. They will tell you, je suis Senegalese. All they see is Senegalese, you know? When you are abroad and you meet Nigerians and you say, what tribe are you? They say, I'm a Nigerian. Before they will sit and even talk to you about their Igbo also, they will tell you, I am a Nigerian, you know? It's only the Gambian that I'm a Mandingo, I'm a Jola, I'm a this. For what? You are a Gambian. You know, when you get in trouble in Europe, they don't look at your tribe, they look at where your nationality. And your nationality defines who you are. You are going to say, I am a Gambian. And the more we keep telling our children, I am a Gambian, I am a Gambian, that is what we need to promote. And when we promote that, then we will have unity. So I will not tolerate tribalism, because I have families from every tribe. And if I do that, I am dividing my family. So I will not allow that. And because of that, one of the reasons I stand as an independent candidate is to call for unity, so that I can bring everybody together. I don't care who I work with, as long as you can work. Whether you are Mandingo, whether you are Jola, whether you just work. Just do the work and make sure you are accountable to what you do. That is what is important. We need to move this country forward. All this tribalism, all this, Gambia, a country of 2 million inhabitants. 2 million inhabitants. When you sit with somebody, between saying hello and chatting a little bit, is either you are related, or your grandfather was my uncle, my grandmother's neighbor. Neighbors, after you become neighbors long enough, you become relatives. And you. Gambia is so small. Even we have communities that are foreign communities, that are Nigerians and Ghanaians and Fulas that from Guinea. They all have integrated into the society. They have children here. The children are mixed. Ghanaian, Fula, Ghanaian, Nigerian, you know, everything is so mixed. We are such a mixed race community. So all these politicians promoting this tribalism is nothing but to just divide people and use it for political gain. And it's nonsense, and I denounce it. And I will not tolerate it.
I'm sure many millions of Gambians will be too happy to hear it from their next president. And they also believe that it's a doable thing. Because if you don't have this kind of unity, this kind of oneness where you are free to mix, to do business with one another, it could spell a lot of disaster for the country. Like I announced before, I only know that if I see a Nigerian name, I know it. But if I see something strange like somebody, our fault, I'm not too sure whether that looks more like a Gambian name.
Yeah, she's part of us actually.
Exactly. So I'm just trying to.
She's my communication director.
Yes, and also if I
Yes.
see Mori.
I can hear my name.
Yes.
Yes.
If I see Mori Keba, maybe this is an opportunity to, if you have a question for Madam Mary Sok Keba, please raise your hand and I will allow you to ask her a question. Or if you have a contribution you want to make, and because I've also at the initial, at the initial stage, I've given the assurance that don't worry, nobody can copy and paste her sweat, her struggle, and because I know that. But your contribution is also very, very key. While at that, I have a gentleman who's also he's in Nigeria, but also I know I can vouch for him that is more of Gambia. He has a lot of connection with Gambia, and he's big fan of candidate Marisol. His name is an exception. His name is Femi Awuyemi. Honorable Femi Awuyemi, what do you want to say about presidential candidate of Marisol come the next election in December?
Yeah, thank you very much, Otunba. And it's exciting and promising to see that an African is speaking passionately about her country. I feel so impressed, and I believe this gives some of us hope that better times lie ahead. My questions to Marisol are two questions. And I want her to, honestly, my first question is, I want you to do a SWOT analysis of yourself and look at your strengths, your weaknesses, the opportunities around you, and the threats against this ambition. What do you think are the most potent forces against realizing this ambition? That's number one. Number two, it's also exciting to know that you speak passionately about what you want to do for Gambians and the Gambia, but they say talk is cheap. Yeah. What is your plan? You can have all these, ideas, glowing ideas about moving Gambia forward. How do you want to constitute a team that will live your dreams, that will follow your passion, and ensure that you achieve the goals that you have designed for the Gambians? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Femi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Femi Awuyemi. Like I said, this opportunity, he has helped me because towards the rounding up, that would have been one of the questions I wanted to ask her. How is it? Because when you are climbing a mountain, there's a lot of tension. It's not easy to climb a mountain, and I know it's going to be a struggle. Judging from experience, we have all known, most African countries, when it comes to election, especially when you now have a female, let me use that word as a woman, want to wrestle with power from. So the question from Mr. Femi Awuyemi is perfect. But I just want you to give a quick look at the question, because I have two very other important questions I want to ask you. We still have some time. So you have the floor.
Yes. Well, the first questions, like I said, we did some analysis when I just came out, because Gambia was not ready for a female president. So yes, this is an area where it's like, oh, a woman. But what we did some analysis. We went to the provinces, we talked to people, we take, we send out paperwork to ask, female president or male president. And we were surprised at the results that we were getting. A lot of people said, well, we have tried men for all these 50-something years. We might as well give chance to women. And then, of course, you have some who are, because of religion, tied into, we don't want a woman as a president. And we have to take the positive and the negative. And the ones that we felt that had negative response, we reached out to them and we talk to them. We give them examples of their own daughters in their own house. Tomorrow, if they want to become a president, would they not support it? So we have a lot of people then begin to see things differently. They talk about religion. We tell them in the religion that they are, how the prophet's wife was a businesswoman, how the prophet respected the wife and put the wife on a higher mantle, and how in Africa in general, women were warriors, women were queens, kings, women were powerful. So we go back to history, and it's like we have to re-educate our populace. And little by little, they see acceptance, they see where we are going, they ask us questions, they see that all the questions that we're answering were not just political answers, because I don't do these political, so-called political answers. I give you the reality of what is on ground and what you are going to get from me. I cannot come here and promise the world. I can promise. So these things that we did as far as analyzing we are talking about and the good, bad. When you talk about we have done, our politics is different. Our politics is a politics of development. We have an organization called Alliance of Social Democrats. As I am an independent candidate, we have a movement called Alliance of Social Democrats, and Alliance of Social Democrats is a political movement. This political movement, I am not part of the executive for a simple reason that I want to be accountable. So let's say, for example, I go into office, and I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do in the first 100 days that the Alliance of Social Democrats map out for me. They are going to send me a reminder like, hey, we got all these people vote for you. We push your agenda. We do all of this. And you are 60 days in office. You have not done so-and-so. I mean, maybe you need to look at so-and-so sector. Something is lagging. That way they're like the outside eye. They can hold me accountable because I want to be held accountable. You understand? That is what I'm bringing different to the table. With Alliance of Social Democrats, they are the ones to back my agenda. They are the ones to make sure that what I have to do, that I do it. And even when I go to office, that continues. So that gives way for me as a head of state to focus on taking care of the country. Not like what we have right now. A sitting president is running a political party. He is mixed feelings. He's one running a political party, the other is running a government. You cannot, it's a conflict of interest. You cannot do both at the same time. And this is one of the things that is wrong here in Africa. We are so focused in our political parties that we tend to neglect what really is for government. Government is a whole institution and it needs, how do you call it, your undivided attention. So these are the things that I have on place. So far, we have been lighting the villages. We have been supporting women and children through my charity organization. So now we shifted to Alliance of Social Democrats. When we ask for donations, we ask for donations to empower people. We have villages where people have never, ever in their entire life until they grow old and have grandkids seen electricity. So we have solar lamps there. This is something that absolutely no political party has done in the Gambia. We have political parties in the Gambia that have been here 30 years, 20 years, and never put even not one little bulb in a village. So this is what we are doing different. Our mandate or our agenda is not just about when we win, we go to State House. No, we say, listen, it is the responsibility of every Gambian to take care of their country. It is everybody's civic duty to do that. So as a movement, win or no win, we will still continue working and helping the communities because it doesn't stop here. It goes also to the next 5 years. Next 5 years, we can go to the polls again. So it's not just about this only, it's about all the time. And it can be somebody else. It doesn't necessarily have to be me, but we need to work. So I'm trying to show the political parties that are around, that are boasting, that they're here 20 years, 30 years, but have not done nada for their communities, that this is how you do politics. This is the politics I understand as a waiting government or as a waiting entity to become in the government. Show your people that are clapping for you and dancing for you what you can do for them in this capacity now, because you're getting funding, you're getting donations are coming. Those donations are not for you to build how many political bureaus all over the country. You have more political bureaus than people. You have more trucks and pickup trucks than people. That is all wrong. We prioritize things that are wrong, and then we expect people to be clapping and say we are the most powerful. Yes, you are powerful when it comes to this material stuff, but you can be powerful also by supporting your communities. by helping this child. One of these big political parties, somebody came and said the school that no political person can win in that village. But the school, guess what? The children don't have chairs. I said, go and ask the one that is always going to win there to put chairs there. Isn't that a shame? But you call yourself one of the biggest parties, or you have been here how many years? And we need to teach and start sensitizing African people to be smart about who they vote into office. We don't just vote people into office because they look nice, or because they look like a president, or because they have a big stomach, so they look like a big man. That is not what it is. Look at the man or the person, what they have done for country as an individual. Then you know that person will have heart when they sit in office to continue doing for country. And that is what is important.
All right. Thank you very much.
So like Femi said, talk is cheap. Talk is cheap, but I've not been talking. I've been doing.
Yes.
Yes, I've been doing.
Okay. The record shows that clearly. I have the honor. Are you from Gambia? Can you unmute yourself and let's hear your contribution?
Yes, I am from Gambia, and thank you, Mari, for inviting me to this. I actually forgotten about it until my alarm wake me up on this.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah, so I have quite a series of questions, but I just want to go back on just quickly, just touch on the area of political parties actually helping communities. You see, I have a problem with this, and in Africa, you can only see this in Africa mainly. And basically, I would like political parties to get up and to challenge government to say, at school A, they don't have chairs. Put money into it. I don't like political parties taking their money, going into this village and town to spend their monies on them. It is not their way to do it. They shouldn't be doing it. The government's responsibility to do it. Political parties doing this, we've seen this in history in the Gambia here. And to be honest with you, I think it's not right. This is my personal opinion. You go to Europe, you go to America, you don't see these things happening there. When something is wrong within our communities, it has to be addressed by opposition parties to engage government to actually deal with these issues. And in that way, government take responsibility. Political parties in the Gambia especially are not accountable. We don't know where their monies come from. This is the problem that we are having. Everybody is questioning, where did Barrow get money to spend on vehicles? Where did Barrow get money to spend on the disaster that has just been happening? Where did UDP get money to spend on vehicles? Where did UDP get money to dig borehole? Where do GDC get money to dig borehole for the community? We don't know. They are not accountable. So for that being the case, I have a massive problem with political parties going out into the community to actually do anything for the community because they are not accountable. When a political party is not accountable, to be honest with you, that political party shouldn't be in power.
Thank you.
Period. In my opinion, period. It shouldn't be in power, period. So that is a problem that I just wanted to put across to you. So the other one, I have other two questions, so I don't know whether you guys have dealt with that.
No, you can go on.
I want to answer that first question.
You want to deal with the question one by one, or you want to?
Yes, I want to. Let me get him that question. Let me give him that answer. Okay. Your name again? Sorry.
Morkeba.
Yeah. Morkeba. What I'm trying to say here, yes, it is for the government to make sure all schools and all these things are taken care of, right? That is the norm all over the world. Unfortunately, we don't have that. So what I'm trying to say is, before political parties start boasting that they have been here for so and so years, because a political party that has been in opposition for many years, whether if it's 1 year or 2 years, it's awaiting government. They are structured like a government. You understand? And when they do make schools or build schools or have boreholes or whatever, that just strengthens their, party. Because people will see that, wow, these people, they're not yet in government and they're doing all this, then this is the people we are going to vote for. Listen, if parties that have been here 30 years, 40 years, 30-something years, almost 40 years, 20-something years, they would have been putting lights all in Gambia. Do you think people like me will have a chance? Then the sitting government will be out. You understand? Because last time I checked, 2016, how much money did the diasporans pump in this country in all these political parties? Where is all that money? Rest, it is not accounted for, but even if it's not accounted for, and you see that they're doing some developmental projects. Listen, if I say to you that Badibu is my stronghold, then I should be the one to make sure Badibu is developed. And nobody in Badibu can vote for any other political party because I made it, because they see what I'm doing for them. So, as a political party, you are awaiting government. So the money your people are giving you is not to buy cars and build more political bureaus. My friend, people need more than that. You know, if the government is not doing what they're supposed to do, that is why you're in opposition. That is why you got up and say you want to fight with that government. You want to take the seat, but you cannot take the seat without doing nothing for 20, 30 years and then think that when you sit, you'll do something. No, that person will never do something after the, because if you didn't do nothing for 30 years, my friend, and waiting only to become a president, I mean, what world do we live in? What are you going to do?
Okay.
Think about it.
Can we take one more question from Mr. Morikeba?
Yeah. So okay, I hear you on that. Okay, so my question, I don't know whether you probably have dealt with this. Probably, if we dealt with it, you just can just say so. So we know that there are different type of things that are happening in Africa and that are actually bringing Africa down continuously. And one is war. People get killed by bullets and die and lose their livelihood, lose everything. But there is a silent killer, a massively silent killer in Africa, and that's entirely corruption. And this is a big, big issue, especially in the Gambia here. The corruption level in the Gambia during Jambe's time, during now, and even Jawara's time, is going up the roof. And people are dying every single day. Yes. It's not people taking up guns and killing each other, but people are just dying. So this is my question for you. How will you deal with corruption if you win the election? How will you make sure that the country is free of corruption, nearly free of corruption?
I always tell people you cannot take 100% corruption. Any politician that comes to you and says, I can take 100%, know that he's already lying. But you can try and at least do 80%. You see, I always tell people, for example, in the Gambia, when we choose leaders, if we, you know, I'm sorry, Mr. Otunbahoo, when I say somebody that has never eaten anything but bonga fish, the day you put a barracuda in front of him, he will want to continue eating that barracuda because he has never seen something like this. We need to stop putting leaders that are hungry. We need to stop putting leaders that have not done anything for themselves or have not done anything for country. It comes back to what I'm saying. If somebody has been working and working hard and doing something, you see that this person has been doing for community. Of course, this person then has the capacity. This person doesn't go, is not going to office to eat. He's not going there for food. He's not going there for his personal gain because they already did all that in their personal lifetime. But most of these guys that are standing here saying they are politicians, go and look at their background. Go and look at even whether they have a proper house to live. Go and look and see whether they even have an office or even a bicycle to ride. You understand? It's when they say, I am a politician, that is when people start giving them donations and donations and donations. That is one of the reasons today in the Gambia, we have 20-something political parties. Why? Because everybody thinks that this is the fastest way to make money. I have a politician that came to my office and said, in 3 months, I'll be the most famous politician and the most richest. I said, really? Is it that easy? I said, you just wait until now, 6 months before election, and say you're announcing. I said, what nonsense is this? He said, you wait and see. Within 3 months, I'll be more famous than you. So this is the in the villages. How many years since I came, helping people, helping schools, helping tanka, helping doing all these things on my own capacity as a woman with children, with my own money, doing wrestling matches where they fought me tooth and nail because I am a woman doing wrestling matches. But I created this platform for the youths. You understand? So what have these politicians been doing? You tell me, oh, you don't believe in politicians doing these things. Yes, they should. because they get funding for that. Even if they don't, that is how they can keep the funding accountable. Because if a politician builds 55 boreholes, calculate each borehole how much, then you know, oh, this is how much we send for that politician. So he put it all on boreholes. Oh, this is how we spend for that. So they put it all in schools, because you will know, you cannot do the rough mathematics to know they spent it wisely. But my brother, they put it on cars and more political bureaus, and be cooking a benachin and thing every day. Is that what politics is all about? And then you wonder why the coalition failed. Look at all the political parties that were in the coalition. What have they done? And then you wonder why when they went, they forgot even the document they signed. They started saying that the document disappeared or there was no document. But they all went there, and we have 7 presidents inside the Gambia. Now that is why you see all these young ones are standing up and saying, we too want to run for president. Now everybody wants to run for president without even knowing the villages, without even going to see the people on the grassroots, without even knowing the issue. All they care about, hopefully coalition will happen and then I can be a minister. Not on my watch. Because on my watch, I will select people that are ready to work. And whether you are from a political party or whether you're not political, just come and you work so that Gambia can move forward. And we need people that are ready to work, not people that have never worked in their life or don't even know how to work other than talking. People that are ready to really get themselves dirty, and we fix this country for the next 5 to 10 years. That is what I'm about. So yes, corruption will be out because nobody can come and say they are bribing me. I have seen, there's no money I have not seen. There's nothing I have not eaten in this world. This Femi knows me very, Femi, you know me. Huh? The time I was going to London for a weekend is not today. So it is not about traveling. I'm even tired of traveling. What is important now is for us who has lived our life to come back and try to help the indigenous people, people that are being fooled, to help them and show them the right way. So that our country, it is a disgrace when we come home and you don't even have a proper road from 56 years. It is a disgrace to come home and there's no water. It is a disgrace to come home and people don't have food to eat. It's a disgrace to come home and your women are dying of child. You take somebody to the hospital, they are praying to God that they don't die or the child don't die. It is a disgrace. And it's only us coming from the diaspora that can help the local people to see the light and explain to them that this is not politics. Clapping and dancing is not politics. Huh? And eating jollof rice.
There was one time we were told in Nigeria that the best jollof rice is from Gambia.
Mr. Otunba, don't go there. Oh, don't go there. The best jollof rice is in Gambia.
As you mentioned, jollof is a tribe, and it's just found in Senegal in Gambia.
Because no. The best jollof rice is Gambia.
It's Gambia. Well, true, but the competition shows that Nigerian jollof rice is the best. Anyway, that's going to be discussed for another day. Now, one more Gambian, I believe. Our file. What's your contribution? Can you unmute yourself? Thank you.
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning. I'm Aji Awafal, the Communications Director for ASD. I just wanted to add on the corruption part. So this is one thing we're in need for change. Basically, we are trying to get rid of the old ways of politics because ASD stands to just back the agendas of Marisol 2021. Which is trying to eradicate this corruption that is going on. We want to stop the way the usual politics are being started. We have this conversation almost every day, me and Ms. Marie, which is trying to stop the old ways of politics, which is engineered in a way wherein it promotes dictatorship. How can you not be corrupt when people are telling you to be corrupt? The leaders are pushed to be, you cannot be a president at the same time being the head of a whole political party. And you are the nays and the yeas. Without your word, nothing happens. So it's like a dominant party wherein it's only your say that goes forward. So, which is what mainly attracted me to ASD, because it gives Ms. Marie here the opportunity to be able to diversify, and in a sense that all this corruption will not be able to happen because there is a say on the other side, which is the board of executives who are in control of naming what can happen and what cannot happen. So it's not a yes ma kind of situation. It is a situation wherein if she has an idea and it doesn't work for the Gambian people, we have every right to object to it. So she has this plan of the 100-day, Miss Marie, 100-day in government, wherein the whole 100 days strategically planned and explained on what she is supposed to do. So she says she has 10 days, and those 10 days are not accounted for, or everything that she says she was going to do, she didn't do. So she will be held accountable. Okay, Ms. Marie, you said you were going to do this and that in the 100 days, and you haven't done any of it. So these things help us to stop corruption. And I was just adding on Mr. Mori Keba, a question on corruption, which is what Ms. Marie said on the 80% eradication of corruption, because it is a gradual thing. The corruption level in Gambia is too high, unfortunately, and we would love that to go away. And having this sort of system set up will help us get that off the table. So I hope that answers your question on the corruption end. And also, getting into the villages gives us chance to get to know our own country, to get to see for ourselves. Could you believe right now in villages, people don't go to school up till 10 years, and kids can't have that education wherein it's basic. So you may have the privileges, but other people in the villages don't have the privileges. There's no light, and they will have no ways of being able to develop in a form that we would normally want them to. So having those things wherein the political parties will be involved and inclusive, they would go in and get to see for themselves. A waiting government is responsible for that. I believe you may have seen it in a different perspective, but in the perspective that I have, I think it's a need. It's a need for us to go out there and get to see our own country and get to see how someone is neglecting one privilege and someone has no idea of the existence of that privilege.
Thank you very much.
So that is just what I wanted to contribute to.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our Fall. Did I call the name correctly? Our Fall?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, our Fall.
Again, like I said at the beginning, I tried to give more opportunity to our Gambian viewers, people who are logged into this session. But then again, I might make a little change. Who knows what the information is going to be from another person here among us who may. I'm trying to be presenter, very flexible presenter. And so I might allow maybe one or two questions outside. But let me quickly make a kind of a connection, Madam Candidate. Now, I have noticed that not only the passion, you have successfully explained to us or told us here tonight that you want to run a government of inclusiveness. You want inclusiveness would mean to run, the way you put it, people who want to walk, people who will not carry bag of, who are not being tainted, people you want to bring fresh blood, people who you believe that they will not have any reason to want to steal the money. And what I'm trying to say here is, there's a combination of a country called Nigeria and a country trying to be its own. And I want to say that from experience, that alone, the biggest country I have, the largest population in Africa, will always remain Nigeria until such a time when some different structural adjustment will take place. It's inevitable. You cannot reverse that as we speak. There will be breakups and all that kind of thing, because we're looking at a situation in Nigeria. I can easily make a comparison to your country and to Nigeria. The amount of corruption Nigerians will have to deal with is massive. It is massive. So I only laugh when Mr. Morikeba said there's a big correction, because not being rude or not being anything. When you look at the size of Gambia, that probably is not as big as one of the local government in Nigeria. So you can imagine that we have, even though we never successfully count ourselves, the corruption is, part of the corruption is we just choose numbers. We can wake up tomorrow and say we're about 700 million. It depends on how much money people want to put into it, how much money they want to make out of it. We have not successfully, I want to be challenged, but because it's your show, it's a Gambian show, I don't want to start dragging too much information about Nigeria into this show. So before I have seen one of my regular contributors, is Mr. Biola. Again, I'm breaking my own rule. I think I'm entitled to that because breaking my own rule is I would really love to have more Gambians here. But I can imagine, Madam Mary, that the hundreds of your fans, Gambians, are watching us. If you go to Google or YouTube or whatever, you will find a lot of people watching this program. And I'm very happy to report that. Do you mind if I get one contribution from
Not at all. Gambian? Not at all. Not at all. Not
yes,
at all.
let me quickly go back to Mr. Biola. But then again, like I said, yes, what's your contribution, Mr. Biola?
Oh, thank you very much, Otunba, and it's been fantastic listening to our Lady President, and I think I could see the enthusiasm, and she has a lot to offer for the country, which I'm very glad about, and also coming from the background and where, I mean, Europe, America, with all the different experiences and what she's done so far for Gambia. The only thing I'd just like to add really to all our plans for Africa, which I think is the biggest problem we have, is that though we say we're practicing democracy, we do elections, people get into power, but immediately the government starts. Further to what the gentleman from Gambia also said, is that when we get into power, we turn ourselves into mini gods. And a lot of times, the things we do to our community, we do it like, oh, it's a present. I'm only trying to help. It's not like it's something you need to do as the president. I mean, a few years ago, I was in Nigeria. Somebody repaired a bridge. It's a governor that repaired a bridge, and they called one of the biggest musicians in Nigeria to play. They blocked the road to come and play just to launch the bridge. That should be a normal, a normal thing you should do as a governor. Why do you have to celebrate things like that? They had a T-shirt, they were dancing in the middle of the road the whole day, wasting people's money, stopping people from going to work and all that. So this kind of mindset is what has got us this far. So when we are going into presidency, as you have said now, we come up with all sorts of policies and things, agendas and things we want to do. But once we get there now, we turn ourselves into God. Nobody can talk to you. I would please ask that God will take you there, but when you get there, we want this community. I know you've talked quite a lot about community, but it's important. We are all the government. The person who sits on the throne is just the person who coordinates the community. I mean, I contested in the last election in the UK, and you see the way election was contested in the borough and the my county here in the Midlands. But you can see the way election works. Everybody is involved. We hold regular workshops. What I'm saying that I want to do is not me saying it, it's the people. Okay, what is happening in my locality? Is the road bad? We need to fix the road. The traffic light is not working. It's what they say. We had problem in my local area where trailers are parking on the road and then people can't drive peacefully. And so things like that are the things that we hope come together and try to fix. So when we get to the council, these are the things we're discussing. But in Africa, it's the reverse. The people sit on the throne and they see themselves like God. Even when they do things, they do it so that the whole world can see that they've done it. It shouldn't be like this. So community is really important. Let us involve the people. Let people who are the councillor hold regular surgeries and workshops so that we know where this thing pains. If we are, you'll be shocked that there are so many people who can help the government to fulfill whatever strategies or whatever plans they have. So this is just my contribution. I think that would, because we lack community where we're coming from. We see ourselves like we are on top there and these people are just below there. And it's creating a lot of trouble in Africa for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Madam Mary Sok, I have one another Gambian, a Gambia is on this meeting. Let me check. Mr. Mane, I know it's a Gambian. Mane is a Gambian name, isn't it?
Yes. It's
Yes,
Musa.
yes.
Musa Mane.
Musa.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, I know him. Now, please, do you want what's your contribution to Madam Marisol, the next president of Gambia?
Oh, you know me, I'm not really into politics like that, but I still got family that live up in there. And what it is, I'm attracted by this whole thing. It's just I see something different, really. And what I see different, like someone just mentioned it earlier about having someone different that's not mixed in with the Gambian people, all that corruption kind of stuff was going on in there. So you need someone that's neutral that will go in there and start to attack the troubles that are there, like mainly what Maury Kava said. I'm mainly focused on that corruption thing. That's the only thing that's letting the country down. Because Gambia is a very small country. It's easy to develop compared to other African countries. So I don't know why we're behind compared to other African countries going forward. If we all work together, small country, nice country, lovely people, but it's just the only thing that's greed. That's what's holding us back. And without that greed, we could go forward as a country. And what it is, it's not even about us, it's about the next generation. So like someone mentioned about education and all that, if we're not educating, focusing on these children that are meant to lead our country next, after we come up, how are we gonna go forward? Who's gonna lead our country? Do we want people coming from abroad to come on teach our children how to teach in school? Or are we gonna have other people coming from abroad coming to, what's it called? For example, coming to into our government, running our countries. That's why we have got people right now in certain position in the country. They're sitting there, they have got no education, they class them as ministers or whatever they are, but they haven't got the brains to be taking that position right now. And all of these things, like we said, it all adds up to corruption, because I know this person knows this person, so I'm gonna bring him along. And that is not fair on the people in the country. So I like this whole idea, what I'm seeing here, with tackling things that don't get tackled in Gambia. Like, mainly, I'm just focused on the corruption side of things. Simple things like putting people's life at risk that Gambia don't even think about it. Like when it comes to driving, anyone could just go into a car driving seat and drive a car, and it's like nothing. It's like nothing in Gambia. And what that does is putting people in danger. Someone that don't know how to drive, especially taxi drivers. I've been there a few times. One of them, I got hit by a 15-year-old boy that don't got no clue about the traffic. So you're endangering most of the children, mostly that walk to school, and a lot of car accidents are happening, and children are getting killed in Gambia when it comes to things like that. And all of that is because of corruption and all that stuff. You want a license, give me this much and I'll go get it. And that person's got the right to drive a car around in that country, putting people at risk. So it's a lot of bits and pieces, like we said. If we could come in and just focus on that corruption side of things and clean the country forward, and then educate the young generation to make sure we've got a great future to come ahead of us. Yeah, that's the country. Thank you for letting me speak as well.
Is that all, Mr. Musa Mane?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mane.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
What I wanted to say on that, Mr. Mane, is everything that you say is correct. I've been here since 2013. People don't even go to get driver's license. You can sit in your house and they bring it to you. We have a lot going on, but like I said, we need to start selecting our leaders, looking at what they have done in the country before, what work they have done for communities, because these are all we might think that these are not important, but it is important. When we put hungry people in power, that's exactly what it is. They feed themselves first. And like the gentleman from Nigeria was also saying about people getting into power and then thinking they're kings, they're demigods. Yes, that will happen because, for example, when you have a political party where the party leader is the party leader. He is the party leader. He is the one that says yes, no, just like our file says, and then he becomes a president. Then the same thing, they worship him, they bow down. Of course, after some time, the guy will feel big. Somebody that has never had nothing in his life, somebody that lived probably, you know, coming from a very, very, they even ever think that he'd become a president, you come and start making him like a demigod. Even for him to come down, to get out of power will be difficult, because, wow, this is what it feels. But if you have somebody that all these things are not necessary or don't matter to them because they've already lived life, they've already traveled, they've seen, they've eaten, money is, then this person, all they want is to have a country to go forward. Listen, I will not speak for myself, but what I can tell you is I will have friends that want to come to Gambia. I have kids that want to come to Gambia. It is sad that we come to the Gambia, our kids don't want to come to the Gambia. Our kids come to the Gambia and they're like, oh, mom, we want to go. You know, I can't go outside, or my feet this, or, you know, they're complaining and complaining because nothing is right. You know, I want that to change. We have children outside and they need to come back home to Africa. You understand? Because Africa is where it is. Africa is coming up. The business, all these companies are coming here. Our kids don't have to walk abroad. They don't have to do what we did abroad. They don't have to succumb to racism. It's going to be different. Europe is different. America is all changing. And we cannot afford to have our kids there. We need to bring them back, but we need to come and set that stage for them so that they can be comfortable and appreciate and accept where they're coming from. And that's what my mission is all about. So it's not about money for me. It's not about living in a state house. I can sit right here in my office. I have a beautiful office and still make sure that what needs to be done for the country is done for the country. I'm not like other politicians that said, oh, the road to state house. After you go to state house, then what? It's not about state house. It's about when you arrive at state house, my friend, what are you going to do? So the road to state house, you arrive there, then what? It shouldn't be that. That shouldn't be the slogan, you know?
Thank you very much, Madam Paris. So, I officially say this, I'm not complaining for you, but I can imagine that if this message is properly disseminated to an average Gambians, they will definitely believe there's hope. Hope is on their way. And also want to add that from experience, the biggest obstacle or the biggest problem politicians do have and they take advantage of is the electorate, you know, because they believe they can buy them, they can give them some small money, convert them to believing that they are going to help them, and at the end of the day, ditch and make their promises worthless. So, what do you want to do about the electorate? How do you want to handle this?
Well, what I do, I don't give money, you know, like other politicians, because I tell them I don't have that kind of money to give. So this is one of the reasons I try to do community development projects, you understand? And of course, at the beginning, people did not understand my, my way of politics. I have a lot of big people that came to my office. And of course, like he was talking about corruption, they have offered me everything and I rejected it because I felt that I am there for the women and the young people and the youths and for the generation tomorrow. And I cannot succumb or do exactly like everybody else. So some of them even said, Madam, we are going home and think about your politics because your politics is different and we don't understand it. We've got 20 years experience, blah, 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 blah. It's a difficult politics. It's a difficult one because I'm representing women and youths, but also I am happy that people are beginning to see the light and understanding, especially the women that are suffering and the children that are suffering, the young people. And like I said, the electorates, you cannot be giving people money. You see, once you start that, it keeps a trend of corruption. That's corruption right there. But there's other ways that you can, work with people, show them that what they have to do is for country. We need to start putting country first. As Africans, we need to start putting country first. And we need to push that agenda of putting country first. Then everything falls into place. The moment you start handing money out, it's already a call for disaster. So I don't do that. I educate people around me. I talk to people around me. Like I said, my office will be independent people that will be in my office. My cabinet is going to be independent. I don't care whether you're in party B, party C, or whether you're wearing yellow or green or blue, or whether you're not in any party. As long as you're in Gambian and you can work, I'm fine with that. We need to start working and forget about this one wearing, I don't care, wear color, whatever, from top to bottom, just work. Our NAMs, we are going to select independent National Assembly members so that they can be free from any intimidation or corruption or any interference from political parties. We need to have a NAMS that has an independent mind, people that can think for themselves, for the good of the country, people that can sit there and think, if I make this decision, is it good for me or is it good for country? We will have an MOU with them and say, listen, when you go into office, social democrats will back you, but when you go into office as a National Assembly member, you're going to be independent. So we will not interfere. So whatever decision you make, it has to be a decision for the good of the country, because it will fall on you. And if we see that, or if Alliance of Social Democrats see that they're not doing what they're supposed to do, next election is there, they vote them out. So this is what we are trying to sensitize people, talk to people, how, and this is the only way I see where Gambia is going forward. Right now, any political party that takes office is going to first hire political members, people in their party, to be in that office, regardless if they are educated or not. And this has been going on for 56 years, and it has to stop, because there are lots of Gambians who are not even in any political party, and they are intelligent, and they can take this country forward. And we are not giving them the chance, because we are looking only, oh, our party members, or our party people, these are prioritized. These people have been sponsoring us. These people have been doing this. It shouldn't be like that. Then even when they have capacity or they don't have capacity, you put them in the office, just like we have today. Because what? Money exchanged hands. Promises were made. Yes, I might not get all the funding and sponsors I'm getting, because I'm doing politics differently, but I don't want somebody to give me money to think that when I give you money, you have to put me in the office. I'm sorry, I can't, because I have a promise I made to these women and children and youth. And we need to give opportunity to people that can help me move this country forward, because I can't do it alone. But we need vibrant, energetic people that are ready to work. And this is how you curb corruption. It starts from now, not when you go in. It starts from the political parties, people buying positions. They're buying positions. Anybody come and give you money on the corner, know that they're buying positions. I'm sorry, I don't want it.
Thank you.
Is that going to make my politics difficult? Yes, it is. Because the young people that I represent don't have money. The women that I represent don't have money. But I pray to God that the agenda and the way I'm doing politics, that a lot of people will see it if they want change for the better Gambia. That way everybody can have a chance, that everybody can have a thing. So I'm sorry, I cannot put money up front.
Thank you.
For any electorate.
Thank you very much. It's been wonderful having you on my program, One-on-One with Otunbahoo. I'm sure those of your viewers must have enjoyed themselves. I've really appreciated you that you came. And at the beginning, you were a little bit afraid of saying, oh, is whatever I say here today, is it going to be stolen? And I said to you, it's even better to say it first, because you have witnesses. You can always go to and say, listen, they copied me, I have said it first. And I want to say to those of your fans out there, and those people who want to work with you, I want to wish them all the best. I want to announce also that the next 3 months will be featuring Madam Mary Sok, and be prepared when we invite you to come around. But please do more to invite some of your Gambian
we will do that, yeah, because I want them to understand where we are going with our agenda.
Yes. So I look forward to having that. Because of time, there is a late hand up. If this person wants to talk, it's got to be just 1 minute and 1 minute, because we are rounding up and then closing down in another 3 minutes. So 1 minute. Yeah, I did okay.
Oh, thank you very much, Otunbahoo. And thank you so much for Maria Sa, the coming president of Gambia. I so much admire you. I appreciate you, your boldness, your confidence, and your ability to come forward and crack the glass ceiling. Though we may have had a lot of female presidents in other parts of the world, but not in Africa. So I've heard a lot of things you said. Although I had someone mention that talk is cheap, true, neither there's any heart to find man's construction in their face. Until we all get in the boat before we know that it's not easy to be able to lead people and to win everybody's heart and to be leader of people. But one thing I can guarantee you, continue in the way you are saying it, continue in the way you see things, continue in the way you are moving forward. If I am a Gambian today, or if I have any right to vote, I'll give you my vote.
Thank you.
When you get there, you mention something that really impressed me. It's about there's an executive. If you sign a contract with your people to say, within 100 days I'm in the government, this is X and Y I'm going to do. So all these people will review it. After 60 days, they will then start tapping your shoulder to say, come on, you cannot let your people down. So that's a wake-up call. In this way, continue doing what you are doing and be an icon for all women. Because like last week, we had another woman on the MogbedeRadioTv as well. So it's evidence to me that women are cracking glass ceilings. We break it through very well one day, and we shall rule the world.
Thank you very much. Thank you. With that word of encouragement and support, I want to thank our guest tonight because our time is up, and I hope next time when we invite you, you will so honor to honor our invitation so we can have the opportunity. And probably I will change the format. The format will probably be for you to allow other people, because like I said, we are more or less like the brother to Gambia or sister to Gambia, wherever it is. So hopefully next time when you come around, we allow more people to contribute if that is acceptable to you. So with all this all together, I want to thank everybody for coming. Thank you very much, Madam Mary Sok. We hope everything is going to be well with you, and hopefully by the time the election comes, next time we're going to have you on our radio TV show here. We'll be addressing you as Madam President. Thank you very much. Good night, everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Good night. Thank you. Thank you.